Hello everybody, hi, hope you're all doing really well. I'm back here for another video. Yeah, I don't know whether this is something going on with the light in here, or it's my glasses, or is it just my eyesight? I don't know. There seems to be a weird kind of haze in the room at the moment. Very strange, got a weird light. So it's about 12:30 here on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah, I don't know, whatever. So I hope this is coming through all right anyway, and you can see me okay. So yeah, here to do the finds video, just a catch up of usual stuff I've accumulated over the last couple of weeks or so. Some online, some from Ben's, couple from a shop in Henley that I've been to a couple of times. Which is like an urban village, and they've got a record shop upstairs. So I did find a couple of things there on Friday. So yeah, I'll just run through these and show you what I got. So this was a new sealed purchase, what I got from Ben's a couple of or so weeks ago. And he had 2 copies, and yeah, so he let me have this one. This is Richard Dawson and the Ruby Chord. Yeah, so there's a bit of glare there. I haven't taken it at the shrink wrap yet. So this is his latest album. I think it's his 7th studio album, if I'm not mistaken. And this came out last November. I think the only previous album I'd heard by his was his album Peasant, I think, from 2017. So Richard Dawson, if you're not familiar with him, he's a kind of alt, sort of progressive, very left field folk artist from the northeast of England. Just produces I haven't heard everything in his catalog, but I've streamed quite a bit, and it's quite odd, strange sounding music, very, very creative. It's very difficult to describe unless you've heard it, which is one of the reasons why it's so compelling. But he really is a one-off. I don't think there's anybody else, certainly nobody I've heard, that produces folk music that's quite as dense as this, and just sort of idiosyncratic, weird, strange, odd musical changes, and it is really, really melodic, very interesting, but really strange, sort of rambling, odd lyrics as well. This one has, I think, how many tracks is on this? I think there's only 7 tracks on it. It's over 2 records. The first track is a track called The Hermit, which is just an epic, which is the whole side. Well, it's in fact the whole record. So it's split up into 2 parts. So side A, you turn over side B, and you listen to the second half of it, a bit like kind of Thick as a Brick, Jethro Tull, but musically nothing like it, obviously. And yeah, just I used to go through stages where I wasn't sure whether I actually liked it. It was so strange, but just the more you listen to it, it just draws you in because it's just so odd. And he's got a really quite a sort of expressive vocal. Reminds me a little bit of Robert Wyatt sometimes, and odd like Robert Wyatt. So, but definitely worth a listen if you haven't heard any of his stuff. So that's Richard Dawson and the Ruby Chord. Okay, this one was an online buy that I got that I waited quite a long time to receive. In fact, I had to actually order a second copy because I think the first one got lost in the post. So this is a reproduction, analog recut master of Peggy Lee's 1969 album, Is That All There Is? This is a fantastic listen. I've been trying to get an original copy of this for years, and they're very, very difficult to find. In fact, I've never seen one in the wild. So I sought a reissue. This was the only one that was actually available. So it's a reissue on Capitol. But a really nice pressing on that kind of yellow-green Capitol label. Polyline sleeve, which is always really, really nice for those who are kind of anal about that kind of thing like I am. And yeah, these are all on a sort of a series of sort of classic jazz albums that have been reissued on this Pure Pleasure Records Limited. So I think this came from a seller in Germany. So I did wait a little bit to receive it, but yeah, great album. The title track is a Lieber Stoller song that was, the arrangement on it is fantastic. Done, the orchestra conducted by Randy Newman. And in fact, there's a couple of his songs on this record. And yeah, it was just, I think it was just, the title track is just one of those songs that is kind of sort of fatalistic lyrics, but sort of apparently when Peggy was presented with a song, she read the lyrics and just thought, I have to record this song. This is my life. This is, you know, she just connected with it so much. And yeah, the performance certainly reflects that. Some really nice other covers though. Other than that, you got Me and My Shadow. There's a wonderful version of Something that she does, the Beatles George Harrison song. Johnny Whistles Happiness. Song by Randy Newman called Love Story, which is really beautiful. Just lovely, lovely, fantastic. Just that beautiful, just, I love Peggy Lee. I can just listen to her sing anything. She's got that lovely sort of lilting, sexual kind of vocals, lovely, beautiful tone. I think she just interprets stuff very well. She actually wrote quite a lot of material as well, of her own, which I wasn't, going back, wasn't aware of, but incredibly creative, amazing singer. And yeah, that's a wonderful, wonderful listen. Okay, then a few from that I picked up from Ben's. This is, I think this is quite this. Yeah, it's just quite a common album. Just one that I hadn't got in the collection. So this is the Stills Young Band from 1976. Long May You Run. So yeah, sort of collaboration with Neil Young and Stephen Stills. And yeah, this is a nice album. It's not, I don't think it's a classic album. I don't think it's up there as one of the best, but it's very well produced. The title tracks, Neil Young songs, great. Midnight on the Bay, Blue Coral, Ocean Girl, some longer tracks on side 2, where sort of Stephen Stills is sort of bluesing out a bit. 12/8 Blues, Let It Shine. Yeah, nice listen. I wouldn't say it's essential, but it was decent listen and nice to have in the collection. Okay, really happy to get this one. I'm yet to actually spin this, but I'm aware that this is a classic album in his catalogue, and this is a lovely original copy that I did pay up a little bit for, but was happy to do so. So this is Moonshine by Bert Jansch from 1972, but I think it was released in 73. It was recorded in 72. Yeah, so not an easy one to find this. In fact, I've never seen this in the wild. I was sort of aware of it, but it was one that I just hadn't got around to listening to. But I mean, any Bert Jansch albums, the quality is usually always up there, and I will always snap them up if they're reasonably priced. As I say, I did pay up a bit more for this. Ben did have a second copy, but it was a reissue on picture disc, which I think was the only reissue since the original release. But yeah, my experience with picture discs isn't great, so I was happy to pay the extra and get the original. So this is on reprise, however you want to say it. And comes with a lyric inner. Unfortunately, I think it's one of those records that has obviously come from a kind of stored collection that was in a garage somewhere, so there's a little bit of mildew on there, but the record's in really good condition, so I'm not bothered about that, and everything's intact, and the sleeve's in nice condition as well. So yeah, happy to get that. Yeah, so that's Moonshine, Bert Jansch. A couple of John Rembrandt albums here, just to add to the collection, because again, another just fantastic guitarist of Pentangle that I always pick up whenever I see them. This is actually a sampler, so similar to the Bert Jansch sampler. This is actually volume 2. I didn't actually realise that it was when I first saw it. I thought it was one of his studio albums that I wasn't aware of, but yeah. So, but this was really cheap, so I was happy to pick this up. So yeah, it's on Transatlantic label. Really nice condition. Glossy, yet no spindle wear. Don't think it's been played much at all. I think I paid £8 for that. So I was very happy with that. Yeah, so there's tracks on here from albums that I already have. So there's Lady Goes to Church for Sir John Lott. There's Shape Mama from Pharaoh Annie. So a few tracks from Lady and the Unicorn. Track also from Pentangle's album Reflection. So Clear. Plain song, version of Blues Run the Game, which was previously unreleased, so nice to have from that perspective. Yep, so yeah, there's 1 or 2 tracks there that I didn't already have, but yeah, nice to have, add to the collection. This is another album that I wasn't aware of, but yeah, streamed and was very happy to pick it up because it just was it's just fantastic. Listen, this is John Rembrandt teaming up with Stefan Grossman, another blues folk guitar player. So yeah, this is from 1978 on Kicking Mule Records. Nice condition, a couple of marks on there, but I can't feel them, so I'm sure it'll play fine. And I think in sort of tradition, because I've got other albums by Dave Evans and so on Kicking Mule Records. There's also guitar tablature available, though it's not hasn't been produced for this album. So I think you had to send off for it. I would think that after 45 years, though, that's probably no longer available. But yeah, some lovely moments on this. There's a track they do called Spirit Levels, which you can actually you can stream on YouTube. The two of them are playing it live, and just a masterclass of just wonderful guitar playing, melodic, fantastic, really, really enjoyable listen. So yeah, that's Stefan Grossman and John Remborn, self-titled, from 1978. Okay, and then a couple that I picked up from a shop in Henley, which I was just passing through. I don't go in there very often, although they have expanded. The record section actually got now a whole room dedicated upstairs to vinyl. There's quite a bit in there, but a lot of classical, a lot of sort of hip hop dance stuff that doesn't interest me particularly. But yeah, I went through and certainly was happy to pick these up. So this one, this is Tom Rush's album, The Circle Game. So yeah, Tom Rush, I knew Tom Rush from obviously writing the song No Regrets that was covered later by the Walker Brothers. Nice folk album, quite a few covers on here. Tin Angel, Joni Mitchell, Something the Way She Moves, James Taylor, Urge for Going, Sunshine Glory, Shadow Dream Song, Jackson Brown, and then yeah, a couple of originals of Tom's at the end. So when did this come out? This is 1968 on Red Electra, so I would imagine it's an original copy or very early press, and it's a mono pressing, so it should sound really nice. It was marked up at £9, but he let me actually have it for I think £5. So yeah, I was really pleased to get that. And then this one is quite an unusual one from the point of view of the album cover. So this is The Infected. So this is Matt Johnson's second album under the moniker of The from 1986. And yeah, the reason I picked this up because I'd not seen that cover before. So I think the back replicates the original with the sort of the cartoon painting style cover that was obviously similar to the predecessor, which I think was painted by his brother. I think it's Andy, is it? Andy Johnson, I think. But this is, yeah, so different sleeve there with Matt on the cover. And I don't know whether this was, I think it was maybe American release or for the American market. But I don't know. This is a UK pressing anyway. So I don't know what one was. Either the CD, one was for the UK market, one was the American market. They swapped them around. I don't know, but it was unusual anyway, so I was happy to pick it up. So yeah, title track's great. Heartland, I always really enjoyed the single. Sweet Bird of Truth. Yeah, it's a pretty good album. It's not in the same league as the Soul Mining as the debut, but yeah, was happy to pick it up, and it was reasonably priced. So Yeah, good to get in the collection. Okay, and then these last two were online buys. So Pete Sounds from the West Coast did a video quite recently where he showed some finds, I think from Record Fair, and he showed some folk albums and was quite glowing about this one, so I was happy to check it out. So this is Leo Kottke and Greenhouse. I didn't have anything by Leo Kottke at all. He's one of those kind of classic influential kind of guitar players that I've just completely overlooked for some reason, to my detriment, I think. I don't know why. I've just never got round to. I've often seen like the compilation albums and so on around, but just, yeah, for whatever reason, I've never picked them up. Yeah, so I think Pete said this was one of his more well-known albums, and was definitely worth investigation. So I think the piece that he played on his video I really enjoyed. It was a really nice instrumental, sort of a little bit Django Reinhardt-ish, I suppose. So I enjoyed it. I've got a few of his albums, so was very happy to investigate this. So yeah, from 1976, I believe. This was released on Capitol. And yeah, really, really happy. I think the 7 instrumentals, it says the 7 instrumentals and 4 vocal tracks. So nice mixture there. And yeah, really looking forward to playing and absorbing that. So yeah. Okay, and then the last one is an artist that I've enjoyed for some years. I've struggled to find his records in a while. There's one album I think called there's an album called Strike It Rich that he did, which I've seen quite a lot of, and I did actually pick up 2 or 3 years ago at a fair. This was actually the first one that I heard, and yeah, it's a reissue on Edsel Records. So this is Dan Hicks and his Hot Licks, and this is the debut album original recordings from 1969, I believe. So yeah, the story with ordering this is this was from a marketplace seller, and the record that was actually advertised was a picture of the original, which I think was on Epic, the Orange Epic label, I believe, or certainly an early pressing. And the pressing details was apparently, it did say Edsel Records in the description, but I didn't read the description very well. Nothing against Edsel Records, because I've got quite a few records on that label. They do really, really good reissues, sort of psych and folk, all sorts of reissues, usually from the 80s. I think this one was pressed in 86. Sounds great, no problems there, but obviously a little bit misleading, because I think Amazon sometimes use stock photographs. I think this has actually happened on another occasion as well, with ordering stuff. So yeah, just something to be aware of. I did contact the seller, and she was really honest and I think upfront with me. I could tell it was a genuine oversight. Yeah, because the record's in good condition, I just kept it, and it wasn't expensive. So, you know, these businesses need the business, and I certainly wasn't going to throw a spanner in the works for them and give a poor review or negative feedback which would impact the business. So but yeah, so anyway, so back to the album itself. Yeah, if you've not heard this, so Dan Hicks, he's a kind of maverick, sort of country blues folky artist, and just got this just incredible band of musicians that just play like they're they're just like their life depended upon it. The energy in the performances is just fantastic. So this has the classic original version of I Scare Myself, which they re-recorded for the Strike It Rich album, which was from '72, I think, which is the other album that I have. And of course, later down the line was recorded by Thomas Dolby, fantastic, on his Flat Earth album, which is actually my first introduction to it. But yeah, this is just great. There's not a bad moment on this. It's Can Music, again, which I think was on Strike It Rich, so that's another original earlier version. Yeah, Shorty Takes a Dive, Even Breeze, Milkshake Mama, Waiting for the 103. There's just not a bad moment on this. Really, really enjoyable. I don't always see his records, which is why whenever I see them, I always pick them up. I think the other one I want now is the live album, which the name escapes me now. I can't remember what that is. If you know that, put that in the comments, because that's another one I'm always on the lookout for. But yeah, definitely worthy of your time. Dan Hicks, if you've not come across him, sadly no longer with us, but yeah, left a fantastic legacy of really vibrant, wonderful, upbeat music that's a joy to listen to. Okay, guys, so that's it. Yeah, hope everyone's keeping really well. Yeah, not a lot else to say really. I hope you're all doing good, having a great weekend, and I'll come back with another video very soon. All right, cheers, all the best. Take care, bye-bye.